All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Now, it's your brother Hawaii from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, Puerto Ricans, and Confucian of faces whose bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who are Israelites, whose spirit bear witness that they are child of the Heavenly Father. In the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world English calls Jehovah or God. In the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world English calls Jesus Christ or Jesus Christos or Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahweh. And pretty much this is going into reincarnation, and when you break down the word read, like in reread, meaning to read again, and in meaning in, and our incarnated meaning in the flesh, so in the flesh again. You know what I'm saying? When you break down that word, when you go into the etymology and stuff, that's what it means. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of people that believe that when the prophets had lived in the scriptures and stuff, then that was just it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always a YOLO life, which the scriptures tell you that in Wisdom of Solomon about the YOLO life, man. You know what I'm saying? That it's not true. And I want to start off with Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. It says, "Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was." And that dust is talking about our bodies, because like it says in Genesis 2 and 7, that the Lord had created our bodies out of the dust of the earth. And how we know that? Because you're going to find gold, silver, platinum, copper, zinc. You know what I'm saying? We got all these different things in our bodies, that comes from the earth, man. Why you think you got to, when you sick, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to having a deficiency and stuff, you know what I'm saying, or a disease or something, or an infection. All it is that you lack in a certain area. You're not efficient. You're not efficient in a certain area to be well balanced in your body. So a chemical reaction happens. You know what I'm saying? A change in your pH changes. You know what I'm saying? So what you got to do? You got to replenish those things that you deficient in from the earth and put it back in your body so you could be at 100% again. And it makes sense. It says, "And the spirit shall return unto the Most High Yahweh who gave it." You know what I'm saying? So spirits never die. You know what I'm saying? They just transition. They placed in the bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like it says in either First Peter's or Second Peter's 2 and 4, when it says that we was put in chains of darkness. The chains of darkness would be this flesh. You know what I'm saying? The spirit dwells in your flesh. You know what I'm saying? In your mind. You know what I'm saying? Really. And when you die, your spirit goes back to the Heavenly Father. So that means that the spirit actually doesn't change. Your spirit doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit doesn't get erased and then the Lord creates a new spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's the same spirit, but the flesh is the only thing that dissolves and goes away. You know what I'm saying? It's no change to the spirit, but it's a change to the flesh. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." You know what I'm saying? So according to the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, your spirit never changed. It's never new, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always the same. And it says, and like it says the thing that have been, you know what I'm saying? You got your current life, you know what I'm saying? It is that which shall be, you know what I'm saying? So that same spirit that was in your previous life is going to be the same spirit that you are in your current life. And then if you die in your current life, in your present, in your future life, it's going to be the same spirit. Verse 10, it says, "Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us." You know what I'm saying? Verse 11, it says, "There is no remembrance of former things." You know what I'm saying? So, since there's no remember of former things, you're not going to remember your past life. It says, "Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after." You know what I'm saying? So newborn baby and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That newborn baby already had a past life, you know what I'm saying? If it was able to go to a toddler or a child, go to a toddler, to a teenager, to a man, to an old man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's just that same spirit coming back, you know what I'm saying? Um, This is First Corinthians chapter 14 verse 32. It says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. You know what I'm saying? So if you was a prophet back in your past life, you're gonna wake up to be a prophet in the current life, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's plain and simple, man. If you was a believer before, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be a believer in your next life, man. You know what I'm saying? And even when it comes down to the 2/3 of Israel, you know what I'm saying? They the same ones coming back. You know what I'm saying? Even when it come down to the heathens, you know what I'm saying? And these great kings and stuff, they're coming back as well. You know what I'm saying? They've been reincarnated because spirits don't change. The only thing that dies off is your flesh, but not the spirit, though. You know, it says, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. It says that which have been is now. So what was been in the past is now. You know what I'm saying? It says, and that which is to be have already been. You know, it says, and the Most High Yahweh requires that which is past. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when it comes down to you Edomites and stuff, you so-called white people, you all say, "Oh, that wasn't me, that wasn't me." But in your past life, the Lord could have had you as somebody who agreed with what was going down, man. You know what I'm saying? When you was persecuting the Israelites, man. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Puerto Ricans, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord requires what you have done before, man. It tells you that in John the 9th chapter. We'll get that soon. You know what I'm saying? You know, he required what is past. This is Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4. It says, behold, all souls are mine, as the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. It says, but if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and he have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a menstruous woman. Defiled neighbor's wife is talking about committing adultery, a man having sex with another man's wife. You know what I'm saying? And then vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because even though it just says men, it's talking about you women too when it comes down to Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Period. And for adultery for a woman is a woman that has sex with another man, even though she got a man or boyfriend already. You know what I'm saying? And then when it says neither come near to a menstruous woman, it's talking about having sex with a woman on her period. Verse 7. It says, and have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, have spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. He that have not given forth upon usury, like to add interest. You know what I'm saying? Neither have taken any increase, that have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, have executed true judgment between man and man, have walked in my statutes, and have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, meaning he's right, he's righteous. He shall surely live, saith Yahweh power. It says, if he beget a son that is a robber, a shedder of blood, and that doeth the like to any one of these things. So if he has a son that does the opposite of the righteousness, it says, and that doeth not any of those duties, but even have eaten upon the mountains, and defiled his neighbor's wife, have oppressed the poor and needy, have spoiled by violence, have meaning to rob. It says, have not restored the pledge, and have lifted up his eyes to the idols, have committed abominations. And that word abomination goes to the Hebrew word the iba, the tha, the I, and the ba, and the ha. The iba means a disgusting thing. It says, the things that the Lord would deem not right. You know what I'm saying? Verse 13, it says, have given forth upon usury, and have taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't doing these right things and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Guess what? The Lord is gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna be in a repentant state. Like the children that was saying to Yahushua when they was crucifying him, he said, crucify him, crucify him, let his blood be upon our heads and on our children's heads. You know what I'm saying? When it come down to reincarnation, all you did was just seal your soul You know what I'm saying? To be one of the ones to get destroyed, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the 2/3 are coming back, man. You know what I'm saying? The 2/3 that are here today were the same 2/3 that was back then. You know. Verse 14, it says, Now, lo, if he beget a son that seeth all his father's sins, which he have done and considered, and doeth not such like, that have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife. Now it's going into like it's going into if the father is just and if the son is unrighteous. You know what I'm saying? Or the daughter unrighteous. You know, for you ones that be on that. And then it's changing from if the son is being righteous, but the father's deeds is not but the father's deeds is unrighteous. It says, verse 15 again. It says that have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife. It says neither have oppressed any, have not withholden the pledge, neither have spoiled by violence, but have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. It says that have taken off his hand from the poor, that have not received usury nor increase, have executed my judgments and have walked in my statutes. He shall not die for the iniquity of his father. He shall surely live. You know what I'm saying? You know, and pretty much the reason why I'm going into this and stuff is because everybody is subject to their own sins. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to reincarnation and stuff, you know, you're for whatever judgments that you had before. I mean, whatever you had done in your previous life, you get judged in your next life. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you still have judgments to pay off, you know, it's like a debt. You know what I'm saying? We are not bought with a price. You know what I'm saying? So when you born into your new, when you born again, you know what I'm saying? When you are reincarnated into another flesh, whatever judgments for the things that you had done in your past that you didn't get judged in your past, you know what I'm saying? You'll get judged in your new current life, man. You know, and you know the precepts are going to come for it. Verse 19, it says, "Yet say ye, why doeth not the son bear the iniquity of the father?" It says, "When the son have done that which is lawful and right, and have kept all my statutes and have done them, he shall surely live." You know, it says, "The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him." You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to spirits, everybody's their own spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm got another precept. This is Ecclesiastes 3:16. It says, "And moreover I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there." You know what I'm saying? You know, and what's underneath the sun? The earth, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it says in Revelations 22:11, it says, he that is let me grab it. Revelation chapter 22, verse 11. It says, "He that is unjust, let him be unjust still." You know what I'm saying? So if there was a spirit back then that was unjust, guess what? That same spirit is going to come back unjust as well. You know, it says, "And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still." If filthy is going into false doctrine. So if you was into another religion, you know what I'm saying? If you was into a religion, you know what I'm saying? If you was into ancient Buddhism or something, or you was an ancient Muslim or whatever, or you was underneath something else besides your own heritage, guess what? You're gonna come back in that same stead. And when it came down to the men of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Going back to the 1 Corinthians 14:32, the spirit of a prophet is subject to a prophet. You know what I'm saying? Whatever time when we was going off, we was in the world and stuff until the Lord had converted us to come to the truth. You know what I'm saying? If it happened in our past life, it's gonna happen again in this previous, I mean, in this current life, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says, "And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still." You know what I'm saying? So those spirits that come in that stead from their past and into the present, you know, it's always gonna be the same. You know, you know. Uh, This is Ecclesiastes 3:16 again. It says, and moreover I saw under the sun the place of judgment that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness that iniquity was there. You know what I'm saying? You know? So you're gonna get judged on earth, you know. This is this is second Esdras chapter 14, verse 35. It says, for after death shall judgment come, when we shall live again, you know, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's I read again, second Esdras 14:35. It says, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. You know what I'm saying? So after death, how you gonna get judged after death? You know what I'm saying? You know? Because remember, the spirits don't change, but the flesh does. You know what I'm saying? You come into a new flesh all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that whatever deeds that you allowed in your previous life, you're going to get judged for it in your new life, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got people that come out retarded, you know what I'm saying? Missing limbs, you know. There's a woman that she lives in a bucket for her entire life, where she's just head and shoulders, literally, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got people who hands is literally on their shoulders, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, people that be in those wheelchairs and stuff. Like what's his name? I don't know his name and stuff, but he the one with his bottom row teeth, and he in that chair where he got to press buttons just to speak. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's because he did something terrible back in his previous life that got him judged in his current life like this, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, people being born with certain diseases or disorders and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? That's because of what they had done in a past life, man. You know, it says and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. And those will be the works of the ungodly, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, from whatever you had done in your past life, if it was messed up and you still had judgment to pay for that, then guess what? The Lord's gonna judge you. You know, and it don't mean that it got to be from birth. That was just an example. It don't have to be mean from just birth and stuff. The judgment can come later on in life, man. You know. This is second Esdras chapter 7, verse 56. Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 56 in Apocrypha. It says, for while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. You know what I'm saying? You know, and if the prophets of old would just had one life, you know, you know what I'm saying, and the prophets ain't come back again and stuff, then why would this scripture be here? You know what I'm saying? Why would we get judged for after death? You know what I'm saying? You know, why would you? How could you get judged if you only live? How could you get judged after death? Meaning that you got to be living again. You know what I'm saying? You know, for your certain sins, according to the Ezekiel 18. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna suffer for their own sins. How could you get judged afterwards if there's such thing as YOLO, man? You only live once. You know, how could that be possible, man? You know, so that proves that reincarnation is in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? For the fact that we living in the last days, you know what I'm saying? The ones that's going to convert and come back to Yahweh Shem Yahshua, the 144,000, which consists of 12,000 men in each of the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children who are Israelites, no matter how they look. You know what I'm saying? Hey, those Israelites and stuff, they converted at one time, and they're gonna convert in this time, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, all the men of the Lord that you see right now, they had converted, man. You know what I'm saying? In the past, you know, and in this lifetime, we had converted, and we still in that conversion, man. You know, and then the wicked, the 2/3, you know what I'm saying, the heathens, Esau, Edom and stuff, you know what I'm saying, the wicked doings that they was doing in their past life, hey, they doing it in their current life, man. You know, showing you that the spirit doesn't change, man. You know, because some needs to hold that account, you know what I'm saying, in order for that judgment to come and happen, man. You know what I'm saying, and it will be the spirit. You know, this is This is John chapter 9, verse 1. It says, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. That was a judgment, you know what I'm saying, from his birth. So when he was born, he was blind already, you know what I'm saying, according to that YOLO life, you know what I'm saying, he shouldn't have no sicknesses or nothing. It should be something that happens later on that causes him to go blind, but he was blind from birth. So going back to the second Ezra 7:56, the second Ezra 14:35, and the Ecclesiastes 3:15, you know what I'm saying? The Lord required what he's past, which is past, man. You know what I'm saying? So he done something in his previous life that got him a judgment as a newborn baby. Verse 2, it says, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? But going back to the Ecclesiastes 18, because the disciples didn't know. That's why they asked this question. Going back to Ezekiel 18, you can only suffer for your own sins. So this blind baby that came through, you know what I'm saying, that came to life, that was born, that was beget, you know what I'm saying, for his judgment to be that he's blind, meaning that he was suffering the sins from his past life. He was getting judged from his past life, It says, verse 3, it says, Yahushua answered, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him. You know what I'm saying? Because what he had, because he was a newborn babe. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do anything, but he had suffered for what he had done in his past, I bring that second Ezra 7 and 56 again. Second Ezra 7 and 56, it says, for while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. And that's what happened to that baby. He came. The scripture says, hey, curse shall thou be going out, and curse shall thou be coming in. You know what I'm saying? According to Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying? From like 15, 16 to 17, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he suffered a judgment for what he had done in his past life. You know what I'm saying? And this This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 17. It says, I said in my heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if you had done some things that you still had to pay for in your previous life and stuff, when you get born again and stuff, the Lord can judge you right then and there or later on in your life. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to the righteous, the Lord can like he can give you something to humble you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not detrimental to your life, but at the same time, later on, he could heal you of it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to bring your hope more to him, your trust more to him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the scripture says, our thoughts is not his thoughts are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are not his thoughts, man. Roughly paraphrasing, man. So hey, reincarnation is true, man. Reincarnation is in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And I hope this video was edifying. And I like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachah, Kodash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to your elect, which you hope to be. Shalom and Abba Papal.